Hello students, it's Mr. Panza. Welcome to a math video. Our main focus question today is finding fractions on a number line. It's not just fractions, it's also mixed numbers. In a previous video, I took you through a couple of steps to not only find fractions on a number line, but also mixed numbers. There are 3 steps to reading fractions on a number line, but there is only a step 3 if the fraction is past a whole number. In other words, if it goes past a whole number and it is a mixed number, then there are 3 steps. However, if it is a fraction, then there are only 2 steps. So let's go over the 2 steps first. In other words, fractions on a number line. Step 1, you've heard me say this in a previous video or in class, is to count the spaces in between the 0 and the whole number 1. So you want to make sure you're locating the whole number, and as long as your fraction point is before that whole number 1, you have a fraction and not a mixed number. So step 1 is count these spaces. You can see I have these orange arrows just to indicate how many spaces there are. 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 spaces, and 4. This number of spaces becomes my denominator, the main focus, the number on the bottom. That is the total number of spaces or pieces. Then step 2 is to count the number of sticks, starting at the first stick after the 0. So here's my 0 stick. This would be stick 1. If my bullseye or my point or arrow is right here on the number line, I count the sticks up until that point. That number becomes my numerator, the number on top of a fraction. 1, 2, 3 sticks means that this fraction is 3/4 on a number line. So you can see in identifying fractions, I need to remember 2 things. Step 1, count the number of spaces for my denominator. Step 2, count the number of sticks for my numerator. If it's a mixed number, you have to add a 3rd step. In the fraction that goes beyond the whole number 1, steps 1 and 2 are exactly the same, except that you count the spaces and marks between the whole number closest to the fraction. So let's say we were trying to locate this point right here where the red arrow is. This means I've got to understand that here is my whole number and here is my other whole number. So I have a mixed number, and my mixed number is going to start with the whole number of 1. Let's review the steps now that we're talking about mixed numbers. Step 1 is now writing the whole number as the whole number beside the fraction. One way that I've been telling students to recognize the difference between mixed numbers and fractions is by circling the whole numbers. Some students like to make designs around the whole number. Let's say one of your favorite shapes in February was a heart. I understand it. So put a heart around the whole number so you understand the difference between a mixed number and a fraction. Step 1, write that whole number, the whole number that your fraction has gone beyond, directly next to your fraction line, and I would circle it or put a shape around it. So immediately just transfer that whole number over here and circle it. Step 2 is exactly the same as step 1 in the previous case. Count the spaces from the whole number to where it's spotted at the very end. The next whole number, 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 spaces, and 4. I stop there because that's my next whole number, which means there are 4 total spaces. When I get to the 4, I take it and I put it into my denominator. Understand that as I'm writing this, I have already taken my whole number, written it next to the fraction, and circled it because the whole number came first. That was step 1. And then my denominator, which are the spaces, gets written down here. That's step 2. Then I count the sticks. Counting the sticks away from whole number 1 to the point that I'm at where this red arrow is, starting at the first stick after the whole number means that it's 1 and 1/4, 1 and 2/4. In other words, 1, 2 sticks. That number 2 becomes my numerator. So let's review. Step 1, look for the whole numbers. I see that this is between whole numbers, which means I don't have a fraction. Now I have a mixed number, and I write that first whole number that I saw next to my fraction to start creating the mixed number. Then I count spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. That becomes my denominator. And then I count sticks from the first stick after the whole number to where this red arrow is, 1, 2, and that becomes my numerator, which means my answer in this case is 1 and 2/4. That's how you locate it. Let's practice a couple right here. Here are the steps for you. Write the whole number on a fraction, count spaces, that's your denominator, then count sticks, and that's your numerator. Let's take a look at this number line right here. If I wanted to determine where A, B, C, and D were, I first need to take a look at step 1. Step 1 says write the whole number. So I need to locate the whole number, which I am circling in purple now. That means my mixed numbers are going to start with the whole number of 4, because on this number line, I start with 4 and I go all the way to 5, which means right away I know that every single one of these answers is going to have a whole number of 4. So go ahead and write that down, circle it, put a heart around it, any design that you want, because this is a mixed number that starts with a whole number of 4. So I've written my whole number 4. Step 2 says count the spaces in between these whole numbers. That will become my denominator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That means on my denominator, I write the number 10. And that goes for every single mixed number in this problem, because the number line isn't changing at all. The number line for A, B, C, and D in this question is going to start at the whole number 4 and go to 5 and have a denominator of 10. Now, I just look at step 3. Step 3 says count the sticks, and that becomes my numerator. Let's take it in alphabetical order. A, which stick is that after the whole number 4? 1, 2, 3. That means A is 4 3/10. B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means B is 4 8/10 because it is the 8th stick. How about C? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the 7th stick. That means it's 4 7/10. And D is the first stick after the 4, which means it's 4 1/10. Following these 3 steps will help me answer every single number line question, including the next one that I'm going to put on the board. Again, I have a whole number, which means I have a mixed number. First things first, I'm going to circle the whole number, which is 2, in between 2 and 3, which means my whole number starts with 2. It's the first whole number that you circled. So write your whole number nice and big, circle it, put it in a design, whatever you want. Just make sure that that is recognizable as the whole number 2. Then count the spaces because that's step 2 and it becomes your denominator. Space 1, space 2, space 3, space 4, space 5, space 6, space 7, I stop. That means when I create my fraction portion of the mixed number, 7 is my denominator because the spaces tell me the denominator. Now I go back in alphabetical order and I count the sticks because the sticks will tell me the numerator. A is the 1, 2 or second stick, so it's 2 2/7. B is the first stick after the whole number, so it is 2 1/7. C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's my 5th stick, or 2 5/7, and then D is my 1, 2, 3, 4th stick, so it's 2 4/7. So again, whole number first, denominator second with spaces, numerator third to cap it off with my sticks. Let's take a look at one more that actually is not a mixed number, but is a fraction, and still shows you that you have to look at the whole numbers. My whole number here starts with 0 and goes to 1, which means I don't even have to write 0 as a whole number. If that makes you feel better, if you want to write the whole number of 0, you certainly can, and then set up your fraction. However, in this case, you don't have to worry about it because your whole number isn't a whole number at all, it's 0. Now all I have to do is skip step 1 altogether. In fact, let's do this. Let me take step 1 out of this problem because now I have 0. And just get rid of it. It's gone. I don't need it anymore. I just need to count the spaces. That's my denominator. Count the sticks. That's my numerator. So let's count the spaces. First, I start all the way at 0, 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 spaces, 4 spaces, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spaces I stop because that's my first whole number, which means 9 becomes my denominator, not just for A or B, but for every single letter in this problem. I then go back and I count the sticks, and those sticks become my numerator. Let's first look at A. 1, 2, 3. That means A is 3/9. B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means B is 7/9. C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/9. And then finally D, 1, 2, 3, and 4/9. Using these steps, you can solve and find every single question you're looking for. Let's take a look at the worksheet that you're most likely looking at. If not, you can print it at my website. This worksheet, again, not only has fractions, which I see in the first one. This is just fractions, just like the one we just saw, but it also has mixed numbers. So step 1 is to locate those whole numbers. If your letters A, B, C, and D are in between two whole numbers, like you see most of them are on this worksheet, you need to identify the whole numbers first. You do that by circling them, then referring back to the very first whole number and writing it down as the whole number in the problem. So let's look at the second one. For A, B, C, and D, every single one of these is going to be a mixed number that starts with the whole number of 2. For A, I have my whole number first, then I count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is my new denominator. And my numerator is when I count the sticks after the whole number. 1, 2, which means A is 2 2/7. My whole number will stay the same for B, C, and D. My denominator will stay the same for B, C, and D. The only thing that changes is what stick is it on. And in this case, B is the first stick. If you don't believe me, take a look at my whole number 2. That's like my 0 point. And then 1, that's my numerator. C, my whole number remains 2 in this mixed number. And then my denominator remains 7. Count the sticks for your numerator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means D, which is 1 before 5, becomes 2 4/7. Let's take a look at one more together. Skip down to where you see the whole number 6 and the whole number 7. Again, because I'm in between two whole numbers, the very first thing I need to do is locate that this is a mixed number and not just a fraction, and write that first whole number that I saw to represent the beginning of my mixed number. So it's going to be 6 whole pieces and a fraction of one more before we get to the 7th whole piece on this number line. Now I count my spaces. Here are my spaces in red. 1 space from the 0 mark to the first stick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And those can switch, which means 12 is my denominator not just for A, but 12 is also my denominator for B, 12 is also my denominator for C in this question, and 12 is my denominator for D, because this question refers to this number line where there are 12 spaces. And my numerators, count the sticks. D is the first one, which means it's 6 1/12. A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. B, 8, 9, 10, 11. And 1 before 11 is 10. By counting all of the spaces and sticks, I find the fractions, and by locating the whole numbers, I'm able to identify these as correct mixed numbers on a number line. That's how you locate and mark fractions or mixed numbers on a number line. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you soon.